sell it all today.
Hey! We're recording the podcast! Shut up!
Good morning to you, wherever you are, because it is Morning Somewhere for March 11th, 2024. My name is Bernie Burns. Sitting right over there, she has so many people to thank. Where does she begin? Ashley. Hey, what's up, Ash?
I'd like to thank my cat. I'd like to thank my other cat. I'd like to thank the cows.
Tell you who you don't want to thank. You do not want to thank whoever the motherfucker is that came up with daylight savings time.
Well, okay, so are you
We had to wake Ash up an hour early today, everyone. For 2 weeks, we have to get up an hour earlier.
It's going to be if it's a bad time for me, it's going to be a bad time for you too. I promise you that.
It's going to be bad.
So daylight savings time has started, but here's the thing. It started in the U.S.
Yes.
It has not yet started in the U.K.
Yes.
Until we moved here, I didn't realize it started different times in different countries. It does actually make sense if you stop to think about it. But as a result, we have to get up extra early here to try to keep the release time consistent, because we did say when we started this...
We got this. We're going to rally. We only have 2 weeks until our daylight savings time happens.
And then we can complain again.
Yep.
It'll be fun. So here's the thing. Do you prefer daylight savings time, or do you prefer not daylight savings time?
I'm going to level with you. I don't know what the hell it is. I'm in my 50s now. I don't know what daylight savings time is. I don't know how it saves us daylight. I just don't get it.
Here's how
Never
I look
understood
at it. Daylight savings time just moves the light later in the day.
Exactly.
So where do you want to spend your light? Do you want to spend your light later in the day, or do you want your light to wake you up?
I think it's also something that's far more important in different latitudes.
Sure.
I feel like.
Yeah,
and I feel like it's like we'll see it dramatically here because we're so far north, but other places in the world doesn't matter. It was always a nuisance in Texas. The fact that we're 2 weeks offset here makes it even more of a nuisance.
Yes, it does. So I would, if I had a choice, I would take permanent daylight savings. I'm not a morning person. I don't pretend to be a morning person. I would rather have my light in the evening.
Do you want to hear one of those frustrating things you're ever going to hear?
Sure. Hit me with it.
Daylight savings time was once banned, and then they went back to it after a few years.
Why? Why would you go back?
Okay, this is from a 2022 article. It talks about in the 1970s, there was a move to put the U.S. on permanent daylight savings time.
I'm on board.
Congress voted December 14th, 1973, to put the U.S. on daylight saving time for 2 years. President Nixon signed the bill the next day. The U.S. had gone to permanent daylight saving time before, during World War II. Then, too, the measure was enacted to save fuel. But after 2 years, everyone hated it so much because they were driving in the dark in the morning that they went back. They went back to it, going flipping. It's weird, too, because people always say, like, it's weird to me when people know the difference. Like, I just call daylight savings time is the day that we change the clocks. I just you change the clocks. I learned the spring ahead, fall back, and that was it. But so we're offset by 1 less hour than we're used to today. So the whole principle behind Morning Somewhere is that we could have a morning show by recording it at 9 or 10 a.m. and it would still be out early in the morning.
Joke's on us.
For some time zones, except for the places where people listen to it the most, like Melbourne, where it comes out at 9 p.m. for whatever reason.
Evening somewhere.
It's morning somewhere. So Ashley's going to be a grump for the next 2 weeks.
So let's grump about everything. The Oscars were last night.
Before we get to that, can I say thank you to @MatthewTaylorLol for keeping this episode ad-free for the rest of our listeners. Sponsorship does not equal endorsement. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Lol.
So the Oscars were last night.
And as is probably not a huge surprise to too many people, Oppenheimer did sweep most of the awards that they were nominated for. Robert Downey Jr. won Best Supporting Actor. Cillian Murphy won Best Actor. Christopher Nolan won Best Director. It was Best Score, I think. I'll try and look up the full list here, but it was...
Way to go, Mr. Oppenheimer. How many awards in total was it? Was it possibly...
9.
Please tell me it was.
I think it was 7.
God damn it. God damn it.
I'm sorry that the narrative flow just didn't quite work there, but it was still a lot of awards. And here's what's interesting to me is a lot of the awards that people thought might go to Barbie instead went to Poor Things. What are you laughing at?
Just how stupid that was.
So I've held off on watching Poor Things for a reason that doesn't actually make any sense. And that is, so from what I understand of the premise of the film, I'm sure I will get plenty of corrections about this, and please feel free, I could use them, is that in the film, a girl, this lady who is pregnant, commits suicide, essentially. And Dr. Frankenstein basically manages to, the baby's brain is alive.
The fuck are you
And
on
so
about? What's going on over there?
And so they save the baby's brain and they put it in the lady.
What lady?
The Emma Stone.
Is she the lady that was pregnant?
Yes.
Okay.
And so she committed suicide. She was pregnant. They saved the baby brain and put it in her body, brought her back to life. So she's basically an adult baby walking around. And the idea is challenging, the social norms and understanding and all that stuff. But there's also a part where they basically marry her off. And I'm like, you're marrying off a baby.
Jesus.
And it makes me feel weird.
Yeah.
And so even though this movie's like, everyone has nothing but good things to say about it, I haven't been able to get over the mental hump yet.
Jesus, what a clusterfuck.
But it won Emma Stone won for Best Actress. It won like all the like set design and production and all that stuff that I would have thought Barbie might have a chance at, because it was so carefully and beautifully done that I feel like I've got to get over the hump. I have to watch Poor Things.
We thought Barbie and Oppenheimer was the big juxtaposition of the year, but apparently it's Poor Things and literally every other movie ever made is what it sounds like to me. But this is like, to me, this is when I think about award ceremonies. Somebody did say in our subreddit, they said that it really frustrates them when you get to award season and everyone basically has the same conversation, which is this movie that I saw, I want to win all the awards. I don't know what any of these other movies are. Like, basically, if they've seen it, sorry, I have my notifications on. If they've seen it, they think it's deserving of awards. And the other stuff they haven't seen must be trash.
This is why I'm not a voting member of the Academy.
That's it.
There's a lot of films that did win awards that have not been on my radar. But I also now use the awards like this very much as a discovery engine.
That's what I was going to say.
The time that I used to have to consume nearly as much media. So a lot of times for me, these awards are, they won all these awards. I really need to take a look, like Poor Things.
Yeah, and it's not the main reason for it. Is obviously the awards are there to reward the art and the achievement. But it is a secondary part of it where you hear about all these movies and you're like, why did this one movie win so many awards? So now I'll watch Poor Things. You want to watch it tonight?
Sure.
Even after that description, I want to watch it.
Nice and uplifting.
Yeah. But I can't help but wonder, too, if Barbie was maybe hindered a little bit by the fact that, these are industry people voting for it. And this was something that got a tremendous amount of marketing and broke all kinds of box office records. And it's also WB, that's making it right now, So I wonder, I can't help but think about the politics behind it as well sometimes. Yeah,
I also wonder just a little bit if there's an element among the voting members of, there was such a kerfuffle about Greta Gerwig and
Margot Robbie
not being personally nominated. Like, they were, of course, Greta Gerwig was nominated under adapted screenplay, and Margot Robbie would have been nominated under the Best Picture nomination as a producer. Mm-hmm. But they didn't get director and lead actress nominations. And so there was the kerfuffle about that. And it wouldn't surprise me if some of the voting members were like, all right, you guys are just, no.
Okay, so anything else? There was a cool, I have to admit, I'm a bit of a sucker when they bring people out to do the awards, and they do it really well, I think, at the Oscars, and they do it poorly at just about every other award ceremony. Like, they had Danny DeVito and Schwarzenegger out.
The twins reunion.
Yeah, but it wasn't. I thought it was twins. When you see them, you think twins, but what they were doing is they were playing off each other as Batman villains, Mr. Freeze and Penguin.
Oh.
And then they were like giving Michael Keaton shit in the front row because he was the Batman they faced.
That's fantastic.
And it was just like served no purpose whatsoever and was just tremendously fun. And then did you happen to see when John Cena presented?
Well, yeah, he was nude?
He was, they were paying homage to the streaker who went across the stage in like the 70s. And then he wouldn't come out because he was too embarrassed. And Jimmy Kimmel got him to come out, and he had to present for best costume, which is hilarious. And it was really well done and really, really funny. Yeah.
Well, it's fine. He can go nude whenever he wants because he's invisible.
Listen, he's in tremendous shape. I don't even want to see how old that guy is because he is in incredible shape.
Well, he's also in peacemaker shape.
He's in, and he's a lifelong wrestler and everything else, which is basically like a beefy acrobat, essentially. You couldn't imagine a more perfect human form than that.
Yeah. So unless you've been doing that your whole life, I wouldn't use him as your standard. But speaking of internal politics,
wait, real quick though, before we move away from the Oscars, I always wonder who won Best Anal.
Different awards, Bernie. Different awards.
No, really. Let me look it up. It's one of the arts categories. Oh yeah, okay. Warner Brothers. It's been a great year for them.
Oh man. Oh.
All right, what was the thing you want to talk about? Internal politics.
Oh, speaking of internal politics, have you heard about this whole thing with Kate Middleton?
Dude, yes. So we're in a weird place. First of all, we're not very gossipy people, but
you're not.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not, but I went on the my favorite gossip subreddit, which is now FOMOI.
You're FOMOI, okay.
Yeah, so I went on FOMOI and they were breaking it down. So this falls into two like weird categories for me. One is gossip about real people. Not a big fan of it. The second is, we talked about this before. We are immigrants in this country. Like, we don't know all the rules yet. We're used to, in our home country, if there's a political leader, we just
hammer them.
Just lay into them as hard as we can. No big deal. Here, this is the royal family. I don't know if we can fuck up by talking about this. One of the things we have to kind of keep in the back of our minds, as weird as that sounds.
Well, let's keep it easy then. So here's what's going on with Kate Middleton. She hasn't been seen since Christmas.
She hasn't been seen since Christmas.
That's the long and short of it. And that's why people are talking. That's a very long time for her to go out of the public eye, especially in light of the king going through cancer treatments and them needing extra help, essentially, for doing events and representation and stuff.
2
and
months.
she's just gone. And they're saying that she won't be seen until after Easter. She underwent some kind of abdominal surgery. And then normally the UK press and tabloids and things are abuzz. When she gave birth, bam, high heels, makeup, here's the newborn.
Yeah.
It was immediate.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of people going, well, what's going on with her then? And the fact that the press hasn't posted anything also has people questioning, because the UK press isn't usually that tightly muzzled.
No, yeah.
In fact, there was a photo that was released last week, or it was taken, but the UK press didn't circulate it. It was a photo of her in a car with her mother.
But it was like super blurry. So this is where I started to pick it up.
It was pretty blurry, but for some reason, the thinking is the palace, who has a very close relationship with a lot of the press,
Point of
had
order.
it.
May I ask a question? I hate to interrupt. Can I ask a question?
You may.
Did you clarify for our audience who Kate Middleton is?
Kate Middleton is Prince William's wife. She is
next in line to be the queen.
Presumptive queen.
Yeah.
I don't know if presumptive is right. She's queen in line?
Yes, queen next. She'll be the next queen.
Yes. And so this is a big deal for the people of the country, especially the rabid royalists.
Absolutely, which is there are people here who really, really like the royal family, and then there's people who really, really don't. It's a very divided thing.
It's pretty much, if you are, you are. If you're not, you're not.
Right.
But the fact that the UK media didn't circulate the blurry photo of her from last week, because presumably the palace muzzled it a little bit.
Okay.
And asked them not to, has people asking even more questions. So then they post up, here's why it's coming to a head again.
You would not want to lose access to the royal family,
yes,
as any kind of press organization.
Yeah. So they play nice. But yesterday was UK Mother's Day. And
That's another thing. It's offset.
it
Yeah.
was also Mario Day, by the way. We'll talk about that later. But it was Mother's Day.
We will talk about
We will. And so the palace released a photo of her and her kids that was supposedly taken by her husband, Prince William. And it's something that I have not seen before. AP News put out a kill order on the photo, which basically means that they're retracting it. They're asking all their partners to retract it because it was manipulated by them, quote, at the source.
I had never seen this before either. It's an AP News kill notification, and it says immediate action needed. Kill notification. Clients, please be advised that the following story has been killed and should no longer be used. Story title, UK Royals Princess, story number, blah, 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 blah. Date of original transmission, this, that. Reason for killing the story. They keep using the word kill. It's crazy. At closer inspection, it appears that the source has manipulated the image. No replacement photo will be sent.
Yeah, so
That's
they're saying
wild.
that this is the palace, which released the photo, was behind the manipulation. I'm going to be honest.
This is crazy. This reminds you like a scene on a John Wick, when they put the bounty out.
Yeah.
Like all the fax machines.
The gold coins start moving around and the ladies get on their old school phones. Kill order.
They're all like for some reason, that's all like steampunk level technology.
No, I love it. I love the John Wick-verse. Are you kidding? I think it's the best. The fact that like everyone in the world is an assassin. Who's funding this? Anyway, but yeah, it could be as innocuous as kids are really hard to take photos of, and one of them is always blinking in a picture, and so they stitched multiple photos together.
Although maybe one of them
is John Wick.
And they're just trying to protect this.
But regardless, them putting out the kill order on this is pretty wild. And so that's adding more fuel to this fire. But not long until Easter, so hopefully we'll have a conclusion to this saga soon.
My brain tries to sometimes connect things too. Like Prince Charles was in the hospital for surgery, as you said, for a procedure as well. I say Prince Charles, excuse me, King Charles was in the hospital as well for a procedure. And then for some reason, circulating, I don't know if it's a recent video, but it ended up on my feed, of his security guards, and the person was trying to show that they have false arms. Like they're wearing big overcoats, and one of the arms for a few of the security guards is clearly a fake arm, according to the person who posted this. And it would make sense, like maybe they have a gun under the coat. I
like to think it's a really, really old rule written somewhere about armed guards. Mm-hmm. You can't have too many armed guards.
What's wrong with you? Wouldn't they have more arms in that case? They have 3 with a hidden arm? 2 arms. Not you, Francis. You stay back with the king. It's the king's man-at-arm. All right.
Only the best this early in the morning.
Gonna get fucking deported for all this stuff.
Speaking of Mario Day.
Wait, but really,
okay.
So what's the speculation?
The speculation is that there's something going on with her that the palace is not being open about, whether that's some other kind of health issue, or whether that's or she's on a mental health break, or it could be anything at this point. They're like, it could be substance abuse. And this is where the speculation gets really dirty. This is where it gets. That's why I don't want to go into that. At that point, it's all.
I mean, there's some crackpot theories, of course.
Yes,
there are crackpot theories, but I do think it's really interesting the disparity between the two cultures. One is like, it wouldn't be polite to talk about this or run these photos. And the U.S. press organizations are like sending kill orders. Kill. Like in the most dramatic way possible, they're calling attention to it. It's just wild. I hope everything's okay.
I hope so as well. And hopefully we'll have a conclusion soon. And hopefully it will be the most like innocuous thing of all time. Like, she asked us to respect her privacy. And we did.
And we totally did. Right up until our visa's renewed in December. All right, you want to talk about video games? Let's talk about your video games.
Well, no, just very quickly. So yesterday was March 10th. They call that Mario Day. And to go along with that, Nintendo announced they're doing a Super Mario Brothers movie sequel.
Oh, okay. I did see that. that was an easy sequel
Oh
to
yeah,
Greenlight,
that's
I'm
not
sure.
not a surprise at all. I'm excited about it. I actually like what they did with the first one. I know that trailer got hammered when it first came out.
Oh, because of the voice?
Yeah, because the voice. But I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was everything that a Mario movie would want to be out the gates. And I think that them partnering with Illumination is actually really smart.
It wasn't well received at first, I mean, for the trailer, but they made a big pivot, and then it made more money than anything else up until Barbie. And then now with the Academy Awards, a lot more people have discovered it because it was nominated for Best Gangbang. So I think that's great for everybody.
You're insane. You're insane.
But I thought they did a good job with it. The first one, I think everyone is pointing to every video game movie and series that comes out as being the one that's like, this is the one that's going to make it happen. Buddy, we're in it. We're in it, Ashley.
It's the momentum, right? You get that snowball effect. You get the first good one, you get the second good one, and
What was
then
the first
they
good
build
one?
the momentum. The first good one, Detective Pikachu, maybe?
Dude, I'm right there with you. Detective Pikachu was the first one that got video games right for new audiences and for people who had followed the original property. I agree with you, Ashley.
But yeah, so I'm excited about the sequel. It's slated to come out 2026.
What are we supposed to do on Mario Day? What's supposed to happen?
I don't know. Play Mario. It's just one of those silly things. Like, you get May the 4th.
Yeah.
Other fun things in the news. I don't know if you've been paying attention, Bernie, but it looks like TikTok is headed for some big changes in the U.S. Of course, this is, we're maybe jumping the gun a little bit, but there's a new bill that's passing through U.S. Congress right now. It just passed a committee and is headed to a floor vote as early as this week that will force ByteDance, the owners of TikTok, to sell TikTok to basically a non-Chinese affiliated company, or it will not be allowed to operate in U.S. app stores anymore. So it's either sell it or ban it is the bill that's moving through the U.S. Congress right now.
And there's a weird thing where Hank Green has decided this is the hill where he's going to make his stand. Is every year he does a tweet. This is your yearly reminder that TikTok is banned in China, which is a weird thing. TikTok being banned in China is the first thing that I've ever gone to Snopes for, and it can't give a definitive answer because they can't figure it out.
That's so weird.
That's pretty weird, right? That's pretty weird. And they've investigated, but they can't definitively say whether or not TikTok is banned in China. What everyone does recognize is that there is an equal app by ByteDance as well called Douyin that is used in China. So it does seem like there's two versions of TikTok or the vertical scrolling app that are available in the two different countries. And according to Hank Green, a tweet that he made on March 8th, apparently he fights people on this all the time. Someone responded to him and said, "Don't they have a second parallel app though?" And he said, "Yes, there is a legally available swipeable vertical video app in China that is policed by the Chinese government that is not TikTok and that does not contain any of TikTok's content, if that's what you mean." So that was his response to that.
Hey everyone, in this lesson we're going to talk about passive aggression. Or feeling passive aggressive.
So I don't know why. He's really fired up about this and tweets all the time about the fact. I think because, if memory serves, the state of Montana banned TikTok and then they upheld it in court. So if you live in Montana in the U.S., you currently cannot use TikTok.
Right.
Unless something has changed.
And there's another bill that's moving alongside, or
Can I ask you real quick? How do you feel about that?
Look, I think that I don't know what the sort of data collection practices of TikTok are, but ever since they had the headline, and this was a few years ago at this point, that they would just randomly basically copy users' clipboards and just send it off.
Just because they could.
Just because they could. This was a thing that they found they were able to do, and so they did. And Apple, of course, immediately put out a hotfix to stop that, which is why now you'll occasionally go to paste something in iOS and it won't paste. It's gone. It's because Apple now clears out your clipboard on a regular basis to try to stop that kind of thing. So I just...
I'll steal it! No one will ever know!
I'm done with the soundboard. I'm done with the soundboard today, I promise.
Look, we need something to get us chipper in. And so I don't know. That's left a bad taste in my mouth about their practices in general. I don't have a lot of trust in TikTok. I've stopped using TikTok. I just use TikTok for olds, which is Instagram, and everything from TikTok comes to me 2 weeks later anyway.
Yeah, it's literally olds. It's like old in time, and then it's old for people as well. Well, that does it for us today. Mario Day +1. We'll be back to talk to you tomorrow. We hope you'll be here as well.
Bye, everybody. Would that make it Luigi Day?